Good afternoon. Welcome once again to Joliet Memorial Stadium in Joliet, Illinois, the home of the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints. Today, St. Francis takes on Cornerstone University in a non-conference matchup. I'm Terry Bonadonna on the call for today's action as the Saints try to improve on their 0-3-1 record this year. They're looking to pick up their first victory of the season against a Cornerstone team that has dropped two in a row. They are 1-2 overall for the year. Both teams are out on the field right now. St. Francis is in gold. They're on the right side of our screen at the moment. They'll be going from right to left over the course of this first half and shooting into the north goal. Cornerstone is in white. They're going from left to right, shooting into the south goal, and they get the first chance at today's game. We are underway, and already we've got a whistle. Just 9 seconds into the action, a foul called on the Fighting Saints. We'll go over the starting lineups for these two teams in just a moment. Cornerstone has dropped their last two games. They've been outscored 3-0 in those two games, so back-to-back shutouts. They've scored just one goal this year. St. Francis has scored 3 goals in 4 games played. They've been getting closer and closer to a win after tying their first match of the season. They've dropped 3 in a row, but those losses went from a 4-goal defeat to a 2-goal defeat to a 1-goal loss their last time out as the free kick comes in and is immediately saved by Elio De Janeiro. So a shot on goal in the first minute of play for Cornerstone, but De Janeiro has the save, and we remain scoreless in the opening minute here. Saints fell in their most recent game to Beloit College. That was 1 week ago today. 3-2 was the final score. And they had a chance to win that one. Beloit came from behind late. Scored in the final minutes to turn what looked like it was going to be a tie into a 3-2 victory over the Saints. A frustrating loss for St. Francis, but they've had a week to mull it over. And now a chance to jump into the win column today. Max Gaudry touches it off to the left side. This is Austin Delazay, and a whistle blows. Foul called on Cornerstone. Let's look at the starters for St. Francis. It's Jensen Eve, Max Gaudry, Bruno Silva, Miguel Zavala, Aaron Razzo, Jonathan Mendez, Jack Brown, Antoine Esparza, Dylan Frank, and Austin Delazay. Elio De Janeiro is the goalie, and we've already seen him make one save today. I'll give you the rest of his stats in just a moment. Let's take a look at the starters for Cornerstone. Calvin Curtis, Jake Madak, Isaac Wood, Tyler Korstange, Steven Stidham, Seth Campbell. As that ball is put in front of the net, it rolls out the back line for a goal kick. Ethan Hell, Eli Leaguewater, Ben Wolf, and Harrison Van Workum make up the rest of the lineup for Cornerstone. Their goalkeeper is Roberto Gutierrez. And Gutierrez has played every minute of the season so far for the Golden Eagles. 3 games, all of them starts, and he has not been removed. This is the 4th game of the year for Cornerstone. He's allowed 3 goals, so even though the team is just 1-2, he's been solid, allowing just 1 goal per game, 18 saves, and .857 percentage. He's got 1 shutout this season for Cornerstone. That came in their first game of the year. And good news for Cornerstone, yeah, they might only be 1-2 this year, but they're undefeated against teams called St. Francis. They beat St. Francis of Indiana 1-0 in their season opener back on August 23rd. It's the Saints on the defensive side right now. De Janeiro steps way up from the net and boots it down the near sideline. De Janeiro has split time in net this year with Merlin Vanderveen. 2 of them have been alternating games. This is the 4th start for De Janeiro. In his first 3 games, he's allowed 4 goals. He's made 10 saves, a .714 save percentage. And he's been part of 1 shutout this year. That was that 0-0 tie that opened the year back on August 23rd here at home against Dort. This is the 4th home game of the year for St. Francis, 5th game overall. Saints can't push it through the midfield. Cornerstone comes in to take the ball away. These two teams met up last year in Michigan. First time they've gone head-to-head in Joliet in 15 years. 4 minutes into play. No score just yet between Two teams that have played good defense this year and two teams that have struggled on offense. So at least on paper, you'd expect a low-scoring game. We'll see if it plays out that way. Off to the right side, St. Francis in possession. Antoine Esparza passes it back. It's Gaudry giving it up to Miguel Zavala. Delaze on the sideline had nowhere to go, so he sends it back to his hot pink-clad goalkeeper, Elio De Janeiro, junior from France originally, transferred from Harry S. Truman College. Lobbed in down the sideline by the Fighting Saints. Poked in the air and a whistle. We got a foul on Cornerstone. So a free kick coming up for the Saints. And they are off on the far sideline, so a tough angle here, but they're not that far off from the net. So this is an opportunity potentially for Esparza to try to score. 27 yards out, off to the right. We'll see if he does try to put it on goal himself or he looks to set up a teammate. Esparza's ready to go, waiting for everybody else to be in position as well. Now here's the kick in front of the net. It's headed away. Van Workum comes up with the stop for Cornerstone and a little push in the back. Another foul is called. Seth Campbell gave a shove to Bruno Silva. And now an even better chance for St. Francis on a free kick. This is back-to-back free kicks from 27 yards out, but this time it's dead center. Max Gaudry will take the kick instead of Antoine Esparza. And for Gaudry, this is really an opportunity to try to put it directly on net. Roberto Gutierrez pops out of his crouch, ready to face this attempt from Gaudry. Gaudry shoots it too high. Out of bounds. And a goal kick here for Cornerstone. Just 7 minutes into the game, but early on, a good scoring chance for St. Francis. Gaudry takes his team-leading 8th shot of the year. He was not able to put it on goal, however. And now a run for Cornerstone. Can they respond after the goal kick? A sliding stop by De Janeiro. Ball is still loose, deflected, out of bounds, wide to the left. Two opportunities for Cornerstone. The first one, De Janeiro stepped up and made a nice play on it. But the ball was still rolling around right in front of the net. De Janeiro was out of the net after he came out to make the save. And the second chance was deflected out. The defense for St. Francis does its job, standing tall on 2 attempts from the Golden Eagles. And now our first corner kick of the game belongs to Cornerstone, appropriately enough. If you're going to call yourselves Cornerstone, I guess you have to have a lot of corner kicks. It's the only way. Kick goes into the back post, headed over the net and out of bounds by Jake Madak. So both teams have had a good opportunity to score in the last minute plus. Really 3 chances for Cornerstone, 1 for St. Francis. 2 really for St. Francis on the 2 free kicks. They all come up empty. Not a bad looking setup on the header from Jake Madak, but he just couldn't direct it into the net. Ended up going high and out of bounds. And now a goal kick for Elio De Janeiro. Just moments ago, Cornerstone was able to turn a goal kick into a breakaway opportunity. Didn't quite materialize. Here comes Gaudry for the Fighting Saints. He's got Jonathan Mendez off to his left. He finds Mendez down near the corner. Mendez dribbles back towards the middle of the field. Silva is called for the handball. Thought initially he might have gotten away with it. It was incidental, but it did clearly hit his hand or his forearm. And the whistle came just a tad late, but it was there. So a free kick for Cornerstone. Steve Herdsman is the longtime head coach at Cornerstone. He's been with the university in one form or another for over 2 decades. Jake Madak passes off to his left. Good run for Cornerstone, but a good defensive play by Dylan Frank, senior who's local from New Lenox, Illinois. He's able to jump in front of the ball there. This time it's Jensen Eve who knocks it away. Seth Campbell was trying to turn that into a scoring opportunity, but Eve got in the way. Knocked it off of an Eagle out of bounds. Throw in for St. Francis. 10 minutes into the action. 35 minutes still to play here in the first half. Part 2 of a doubleheader for St. Francis soccer. The women's team fell to Marian University prior to this one, 4-2. It's the rare non-conference doubleheader. 2 different opponents. Not many conference doubleheaders this year either. I think there might only be one more scheduled this season for the men's and women's teams here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Good challenge from Gaudry. He knocks the ball away from Tyler Corstange. Cornerstone gets it back. It's Van Workum. Off to the right side, headed away by Austin Delazay and out of bounds. Campbell will get it back in bounds. Calvin Curtis touches it off to the left side, keeps it away from the St. Francis defense. Ultimately knocked out of bounds. Throw in for the Eagles. Long toss from Ben Wolf towards the edge of the box. Poked away. There's a near shot. Doesn't make it through the defense. Another opportunity here for Madak right in front of the net, and it's fallen on top of by Elio De Janeiro. Another close call for Cornerstone. There was nobody there to take the shot. The ball rolled right in front of the net, and De Janeiro just fell on it to make sure nobody had a play. Free kick coming up for the Golden Eagles. They're putting a lot of pressure on St. Francis early in this game. Chipped into the box. Knocked away from Curtis. Out the sideline. Another throw in here for Seth Campbell. Steven Stidham works his way around a defender. A tackle made by Curtis to knock the ball loose. Another chance for Stidham. His cross is deflected by Eve. Saints haven't been able to clear it yet. Esparza tried to, knocked off of his foot, and now finally the Fighting Saints are able to get it out of harm's way. Down the near sideline and out of bounds. So it'll stick with Cornerstone. A throw in from midfield. Tussle for the ball, knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Golden Eagles. No score, coming up on 32 minutes to play in the first half. Gaudry keeps it alive. Cornerstone wanted a handball, didn't get the call. Esparza works it backwards. Dylan Frank pushes it out of bounds. Throw in for Ben Wolf of Cornerstone. Here's Harrison Von Workum. Passed ahead for Campbell. At midfield, it's Jake Madak. And knocked out of bounds on the far side of the field, right around midfield. Pushed back into the box and deflected out of bounds. We're going to get another corner kick. Second one of the game for Cornerstone. They've really taken it to St. Francis just in terms of their aggressiveness. A team that has scored just 1 goal in 3 games played this year. They're not playing like a team with those kind of stats. They'd also taken just 19 shots through 3 games, so just over 6 per game. Shots on goal were at 10, just over 3 per game. Deflected off the corner kick. Knocked away by Delazé, still alive for the Golden Eagles, and finally cleared by the Saints. Headed back and forth. Saints trying to clear it again, and DeGennaro is able to pick it up. Trying to calm things down right now for St. Francis. Cornerstone has been very aggressive in this game. And as I said, as far as their numbers are concerned, they're playing well above season averages so far today. 6 shots per game, 3 shots on goal per game. They average just 1 goal every 3 games, which is an unfair way of saying they have scored 1 goal overall in 3 games. Today they've already taken 5 shots, 2 on goal. So they're 1 shy of their season averages in both categories. And we've only played 15 minutes. Saints, meanwhile, haven't been able to get much going on offense. There's a shot from Ethan Hell, and it goes out of bounds to the left of the net. Just 1 shot so far today for St. Francis. That came off of a free kick. That's all we've seen from them. Kick is away on the far side of the field. Headed by Silva to keep it alive for St. Francis, but it is taken away. Isaac Wood takes possession for Cornerstone. Intercepted by the Fighting Saints. Aaron Razzo off to his left, and Mendez. Mendez back to the middle of the field. It's Gaudry, and Gaudry has it tackled away from him by Eli Leaguewater. Right back to the Fighting Saints. Gaudry over to Mendez, left side. Mendez dribbles towards the end line. Tries to work his way back in, and it's cleared out of bounds. Mendez ended up on the ground, and there was a call from the St. Francis faithful to get the penalty, but no such call was made. Throw in from Frank. Deflected back the other way. And Cornerstone gets it out of harm's way along the sideline. Frank tosses it right back in to Aaron Razzo. There's Jack Brown. Razzo trying to get it back to Brown, but it's booted high up into the stands. Another throw-in coming up from Dylan Frank. Scoreless game, 27.5 minutes to go in the first half. Frank fires it in towards the net. Headed to the backside. Esparza takes the shot and sails it high. Second shot taken in this game by St. Francis. Good looking opportunity for Esparza, but he went upstairs with it. Second shot of the game, they both missed high. It's kicked across midfield and rolled out of bounds. Good challenge by the Fighting Saints. Delazé tried to keep it alive, couldn't. Now here's Isaac Wood. Wood works his way into the box, knocked off of his foot. Taken out of harm's way by St. Francis. Gaudry ahead to Mendez. Mendez is able to leap over one defender. Can't get by Van Workum. Here's Cornerstone on the counter. Calvin Curtis takes one step to his left, takes the shot and scores. And Cornerstone strikes first with 26 minutes exactly showing on the clock. It's 1-0 in favor of the Golden Eagles. For Calvin Curtis, that's the second goal of the season. He has scored both of them. Led the team coming in today with 4 shots and 3 shots on goal. Another one right there. So he made a nice move, just one touch to get it around Miguel Zavala. And then pushed it off to the opposite side, right inside the net. Good shot from Curtis to make his team a 1-0 leader with just under 26 minutes remaining in the first half. A lot of soccer still in front of us here. It's Mendez on the back line, pulling his way out. Mendez takes a couple of dribbles, passes in the middle of the field for Gaudry. Gaudry takes a shot, and it goes high. Not a bad idea from Gaudry there. A little bit high, and that's where the Saints have been on all of their shots today, just over the crossbar. Trying to respond to Cornerstone less than a minute after they scored. Saints instead give a goal kick. A free opportunity here to Cornerstone. Gutierrez, the goalkeeper, works it out to Van Werkum on the right side. Van Werkum's ball dribbles out of bounds. Dylan Frank back on defense, ready for the throw-in. Finds Gaudry, and Gaudry, trying to back Jake Madak down, is fouled by Madak. Now to the far side of the field, it's Esparza. Esparza trying to make a move around the defender. Passes to Gaudry in the middle of the field. Poked away from him from behind. Jensen Eves steps up with a really nice challenge to take the ball away. Here's Esparza off the feet from Silva. Esparza's ball is deflected. Good defense from Cornerstone on the play. It was Eli Leaguewater who made the stop. Now the Golden Eagles are on the attack. A shot and a save by DeGennaro. DeGennaro able to turn away Ethan Hell. Another save for him. He has given up a goal already today, but he has been very good overall in that. Off the throw in, Cornerstone gets it back to the foot of their goalkeeper, who reverses field on the far side. Knocked out of bounds by Ben Wolf, or by Leaguewater rather. Van Werkum steps up, kicks it downfield, and all the way down into the box, which allows DeGennaro to scoop it up if he wants to. He's not being challenged right now, so he'll just work it out with the right foot, pushing it out of the box so he can't pick it up any longer. Finds Zavala on his left. Miguel Zavala passes it ahead. Mendez back to Gaudry. Good run from Jack Brown. Esparza on the far side of the field makes a good move to get around Wolf, takes the shot, and it's saved. First shot on goal for St. Francis. Antoine Esparza gets it through the defense. Not able to beat Roberto Gutierrez on that one. Gutierrez, who averages 6 saves per game, has one of them now in this afternoon's contest. Foul called on Zavala of St. Francis. Just under 22 minutes to play in the first half. 1-0, Cornerstone has the lead. League water, pushes it down the middle of the field into the box. Played there by St. Francis. Jack Brown's ball is intercepted. Here comes Wood. Knocked away and stolen by St. Francis. Pushed off to the far sideline by Bruno Silva. Nobody there to play it for the Saints. Van Workum, deep ball, bounces into the box. DeGennaro steps up and heads it. And we got a foul called on Cornerstone as DeGennaro got locked up with Steven Stidham. Both men hit the ground, and both men are still down. Clock stops at 20:48. Tough play. It was an in-between ball for Elio DeGennaro. It bounced just outside of the box. He stepped up on it, and he was still right at the edge, so it would have been risky to grab it. Instead, he led with his head and pushed it forward. Steven Stidham was coming in at the same time to try to play the ball, and he kind of undercut DeGennaro in the process. Both guys are still down, although DeGennaro is now propping himself back up. He appears to be okay. Stidham is being helped up. So you guys shake hands to make sure there's no hard feelings, but both guys appear to be okay to stay in. So the lineups will stay the same. Both players taken out on the play, but they both seem to be okay now. DeGennaro is going to stay in. Stidham is walking off towards the sideline, so he'll come out temporarily, but based on the way he's walking, I think he'll probably be able to get back in there. And had the wind knocked out of him after that collision with DeGennaro. So he comes out, at least for now. Fighting Saints will make a substitution. They'll make two substitutions, in fact. Sergio Fernandez-Arango is in. Armani Lagunas comes on as well. For Cornerstone, doesn't look like we're going to see a substitution. Stidham had to leave the game for just a brief moment, but he's already out there again, not on the field, but standing at midfield. Now he's able to check back in as play resumes. 1-0, Cornerstone has the lead. After that lull in the action, still about 20.5 minutes to play before halftime. Far side of the field. St. Francis is trying to keep it in bounds, but Cornerstone takes it away. Back to Zavala on the defense for St. Francis. They find their goalkeeper, DeGennaro. Here's a run from Gaudry. He's got Mendez running out in front of him. Instead, he cuts it back towards the middle of the field. Rolls to Fernandez-Arango. One touch right back to Gaudry, and Gaudry tried to give it right back to Fernandez-Arango, but he wasn't running on the play. A little miscommunication between the two of them. They're not able to hook up. And instead, the ball goes back to Cornerstone. Goal kick for the Eagles, as has been typical. They play it short. Knocked out of bounds, and the Saints will get a throw in. Both teams jockeying for position here. Ball is knocked out. St. Francis takes control. Gaudry at midfield nearly lost it. Wood is fighting for it, And Wood trips up Gaudry. Jake Madak came away with the ball there, but the foul was called prior to it. Free kick for the Fighting Saints. They push everybody downfield, let Jensen Eve step up on the kick, and he plays it short to Zavala, immediately to his left. Back to DeGennaro. Eve again, this time on the right. Big kick from DeGennaro. Jonathan Mendez trying to make a run downfield. Can't get to it. It's knocked into the corner, and that's where Mendez chases it down. Out to Lagunas. To the sideline, out of bounds. Throw in for Lagunas. Finds Gaudry. Lagunas again. Cleared by Cornerstone. A couple of good touches from the freshman Jack Brown to keep this new possession alive. But here come the Golden Eagles. It's Wood. Passing back to Leaguewater. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Let's see what Roberto Gutierrez does with the ball. Pushes it deep downfield. A lot of defense there, though, for St. Francis. Antoine Esparza keeps it in bounds and keeps it away from Ethan Hell. Knocked out. Throw in coming up St. Francis. Just under 17 minutes remaining now in the first half. 1-0. Cornerstone leads on a goal from Calvin Curtis, but that goal was 10 minutes ago now, and they really have not possessed the ball since then. They were dominating possession early. Well, they've got it now. Zavala steps in defensively for the Saints, passes back to DeGennaro. DeGennaro slows things down for the Fighting Saints. It's been a busy first half for Elio DeGennaro. Of course, he did let the one goal in, but he's also got a couple of big saves. Some really nice plays. He's involved himself in the defense a lot as well. One-on-one towards the net. Stidham makes a move to his left. Passes it off to Curtis. Curtis tried to roll it back to Stidham, couldn't do it. The defense stands strong. Deflected by Leaguewater. The ball bounces back to the Cornerstone offense. Doesn't go very far, though. From the defensive end, Cornerstone pushes. 3 saves overall today for DeGennaro. A few of them have been impressive. Not that it's ever unimpressive to get a save. Some of them have been really good. Here's a pass to Gaudry. One touch to get around the first defender. Can't beat the second. Leaguewater passes back to the Cornerstone goalkeeper. Gutierrez pelts it away. Saints work their way back up from the defensive end. It's Brown. Off to Delazay. Delazay launches it to his left, and Mendez can't keep it in bounds. Substitutes coming on for both sides. For St. Francis, it is Mason Moroz. For Cornerstone, looks like Noah Dressler is checking in, along with probably a few others. Mason Hayboer and Gavin Bignall are in as well. And now that all those subs are done, we're ready to resume the action. Cornerstone gets the throw. The defensive third of the field, near sideline. Foul called on Miguel Zavala. Leading on the back of an Eagle. 13 minutes to play in the first half. 1-0. Calvin Curtis scored a goal in the 20th minute. Headed towards the net. Saints trying to keep the Eagles away, and they are able to. Lagunas was standing there as the enforcer. Anybody who came near him, he was going to box out. But two guys came at him from different angles. That would have made things difficult. Elio De Janeiro, though, made the play that he had to make. Didn't seem like there was going to be an issue. There's a cross to the back post, headed away. Only briefly, though. Delazé tries to get it out of harm's way again, but this pass is deflected back towards the net where De Janeiro has to pick it up. Rather than giving the deep punt, De Janeiro just rolls it out in front of him. He's going to dribble as long as he's able. And now a big kick down the far sideline. Ricocheted ahead. Saints trying to make a push. Too many white shirts out there. We got a whistle and a free kick coming to the Fighting Saints. I think we got another handball there. So a new opportunity for St. Francis. They've had a few of them from right here. This one a little bit closer than any of the previous free kicks. It's only a little over 20 yards out. It'll be taken by Sergio Fernandez Arango, looking for his second goal of the season. The kick is high and maybe a little wide to the right. So another free kick, and the free kicks are not penalty kicks. You've got a whole defensive team lined up in front of you, which makes it difficult. But they've had such close opportunities on these free kicks that I'm sure they're a little frustrated they haven't been converting any of them. Cornerstone's gone almost completely silent since they scored their goal. We'll see if that changes going forward. Their run is easily halted this time. Man down for St. Francis, and Cornerstone gets the ball back after the slip. Saints are able to come up strong defensively again, though. Mendez passes off to Gaudry. Gaudry gets around a defender, freezes right in the box. One dribble, takes the shot, and it's out of bounds. There were some calls from the crowd for a foul called earlier on that run for St. Francis, not on Gaudry, who had the ball, but in the middle of the field. I think it was Sergio Fernandez Arango who got taken down. Be that as it may, it was a good scoring opportunity, a really good one. They weren't able to cash in. Gaudry takes the ball away again. Trying to push it through for Fernandez Arango. Can't quite squeeze between two defenders. And the Eagles make another stop. Cornerstone working up the far side of the field. Gavin Bignall kicks it down the sideline, taken away by the Saints. Here comes Delazé. Delaze going all the way, one end to the other. But finally, near the corner, has it pushed off his foot and out of bounds. Lobbed in for Fernandez Arango. Tried to roll it ahead, I guess, to Delaze, who wasn't headed in that direction. Out of bounds. And a goal kick coming up for Cornerstone. Under 8 minutes to play in the first half. Cornerstone by 1. Lagunas ahead to Gaudry. Back and forth at the middle of the field. Possession, at least for the moment, won by Cornerstone. Looked like they were about to lose that possession, but a foul was called. Free kick for the Golden Eagles. Right around midfield. So there's no reason for the Saints to overly worry about this push. Into the box, headed in front of the net, cleared pretty cleanly by Nathan Sharp. Taken back by Mason Habor. Saints ball on the throw-in. St. Francis is holding their own against Cornerstone. This is a good Cornerstone defense. But they're going to have to do a little bit more over the final 51 minutes than hold their own. Already trailing by a goal. They're going to need at least 2 in order to win today. They're coming off of their first multi-goal game of the season last week against Beloit. That was when they lost 3-2. Their defense has picked it up today. After a tough start in which Cornerstone seemed like they were constantly knocking on the door until they finally scored 19 minutes into the game. Headed towards the back corner and out of bounds. We'll get a corner kick. The defense of St. Francis has dominated the last 20-plus minutes since that goal. Cornerstone has scarcely had a touch, let alone a shot on goal, let alone a goal scored. After a really hot offensive start for them. Gaudry sends in the corner kick. Back post, he overshot everybody. Out of bounds this time for a goal kick. Cornerstone takes their time. Under 5 minutes now in the half. Gaudry on the loose ball. Dribbles off to his right, taken by Isaac Wood. Rolled across midfield. Ball won for the moment by St. Francis. It's Jonathan Mendez who can't keep it in bounds. Throw in for the Eagles. Nope, that call's been changed. Throw in for the Saints. Free kick for the Saints. Foul was called on Cornerstone. On the dribble, Aaron Razzo passes off to Sergio Fernandez Arango on the right. It's stolen. Ball goes through, long run. Defended by Eve. Constange fires it off with a shot. It goes high and over the net. Corstange set up Ethan Hell. And the shot from Hell was not a bad-looking one, but it goes over the crossbar. It's a taste of Fighting Saints medicine. They've had a handful of them go over the crossbar. Headed to the backside, and a little run for St. Francis is cut short by Roberto Gutierrez. Saints make their move again. It's Mendez. Mendez dribbles, shoots, it's wide to the left. That was a good shot too, especially down by a goal. Saints trying to put some pressure on Roberto Gutierrez. That certainly did, even though it didn't get a result. Offsides is the call. Ethan Hell was out in front of the pack. He might not have been the only one offsides. Gavin Bignall was up there as well. Bignall didn't touch the ball, so it didn't matter as much. It would have if he had been the only one offsides, but he wasn't. Play on the far side of the field. Throw in for Nathan Sharp of St. Francis. Harrison Van Workum couldn't prevent that ball from going out. Saints trying to make a last little push here before halftime. Trailing 1-0. They'd like to tie things up going into the intermission. Out of bounds. We've got a corner kick coming for the University of St. Francis. This could be it for St. Francis in this half. If they're not able to score off this corner kick, they might be looking to just take a 1-0 deficit into halftime. Kick is taken in front of the net, headed away. Looked like Tyler Korstange who headed it. Saints still are on the attack. There's a floater right to the net. A leaping catch made there by Roberto Gutierrez. Now Cornerstone is looking to clear it deep downfield and put an end to this half once and for all. This is a good half for the Golden Eagles. Saints haven't played poorly, certainly not the last 20 minutes especially. But they do find themselves trailing with 38 seconds and counting, running us down to halftime. One last chance off the free kick, just beyond midfield. Long free kick goes right into the waiting hands of Roberto Gutierrez. That should do it for the first half. He'll take a few extra seconds before kicking this one away. And that'll take us right into the intermission. 1-0 is our score. Cornerstone got on the board in the 20th minute due to Calvin Curtis and a really nice move to free himself up for the shot. And as we head to the second half, it is 1-0 Cornerstone. We'll get to the exciting second half in just a moment. Terry Bonadonna taking a break for right now. 1-0 our score at halftime. Cornerstone leads the host Fighting Saints. It's the start of the second half, 1-0. Cornerstone leads St. Francis after 45 minutes of play. Terry Bonadonna back with you on the call for today's game. Two teams have flipped sides. St. Francis is now going from left to right. Cornerstone is going from right to left, and it'll be the Fighting Saints getting the opening kick of the second half. 45 minutes set on the clock. It was an interesting first half. Cornerstone outplayed St. Francis, and they've got the lead to show for it. But things really flipped after that goal scored. It scored after 19 minutes of play. And for those first 19 minutes, Cornerstone dominated. They were getting more opportunities. They really could have had a 2 or a 3 goal lead. But for some really nice plays made by St. Francis's defense, a couple of good plays made by the goalkeeper, Elio Di Janeiro. But they led 1-0. They got their goal off of a good move from Calvin Curtis. He got around Miguel Zavala and was able to fire one past Di Janeiro. We're going to have a corner kick early on here in the second half. Cornerstone will get the first corner kick of this half. That was an area. They had a lot more opportunities in the first. 2 corners early on. This is their 3rd overall of the game. It's another stat that similarly was dominated by Cornerstone early, and then St. Francis got him back later. Right in front of the net, deflected away and knocked out of bounds, this time by the Golden Eagles. It'll be a goal kick. The stats were so even in the first half, it's hard to believe that Cornerstone dominated as much as they did early, because after they scored that goal in the 20th minute, I don't know that they intentionally backed off. I don't think they really changed their style that much. St. Francis just kicked it up a notch, and they really controlled the play over the final 25 minutes. There's a deflection from Eve and booted away by Di Janeiro. Shots were 9-8 in favor of the visitors in the first half. Shots on goal 4-2 for Cornerstone. 2 saves made by Roberto Gutierrez. Di Janeiro made 3 saves. Fouls were pretty even as well, 8 and 6 for Cornerstone and St. Francis respectively. Fighting Saints have it at midfield. William Morrell loses control of the ball. It's taken away by Isaac Wood. Wood played well in the first half. He had a chance to score one early. Given up to Jake Madak. Off to the right side towards the corner. Centered and cleared by St. Francis. Zavala tries, or rather Esparza tries to get it around Ben Wolf. Can't do it. It is Wolf along the sideline and out of bounds. He hit it off of Ethan Hell. Three minutes into the second half. St. Francis trying to make their first push. Here's Sergio Fernandez Arango passing back to Morrell and getting it back near the goalkeeper. And speaking of that keeper, Roberto Gutierrez steps up and just scoops that ball up. Doesn't allow the Saints to get a shot off. Gutierrez, senior out of Franklin, Wisconsin, directs his teammates downfield. I don't know what to make of this, but I'm interested in the fact that he is from Wisconsin. One of the backup goalkeepers, Evan Meyer, is from Valparaiso, Indiana. Everybody else on the roster is from Michigan. So the only 2 players who are not from Michigan on this team are both goalies. I think it's probably just a coincidence. But I'm interested by that anyway. It's a very local roster. The Saints have players from Spain, from the Netherlands, from England, Israel, a couple from France, from Brazil. They've got a lot of guys who are local as well. That's right in front of the net. A chance for Cornerstone, but surrounded by yellow shirts. And the Saints are able to get rid of it. Lagunas clears it. Here comes Fernandez Arango. He's beaten one defender, trying to get by the next. Van Werken steps in his way. He passes off to his left side and Mendez. Jonathan Mendez still trying to set something up, but the defensive Cornerstone did a really nice job of preventing that initial run. Now the Saints are trying to work out something a little bit more slowly. It's Mendez. Rolling off to Roger Valles. Gaudry can't keep possession, and Cornerstone is able to clear it. Back to the defense of St. Francis. Dylan Frank gives it up to Jack Brown. Brown, by the way, is from Cyprus. Gives you another idea of the distances traveled to be here to play for the Fighting Saints. Cornerstone, a different story. Everybody is local except for two guys, and the two guys who aren't are still from the Midwest, Wisconsin and Indiana. So everybody is local relative to what I've been talking about. Some of the guys from St. Francis, although the Fighting Saints have a lot of locals as well. The Southwest Chicago suburbs are very well represented on this roster. 39 minutes to play in the second half, and a corner kick coming up for Cornerstone. It'll be taken by Gavin Bignall, who's from Muskegon, Michigan. Transfers from Adrian College, also in Michigan, headed to the back post, and a foul is called on St. Francis. Right in front of the net. A couple of players got tangled up with one another, and Tyler Korstange ended up on the ground. Apparently pulled down, and it goes as a penalty on the Fighting Saints. So with 38 and a half minutes to play in the second half, the man who got taken out on the play, Korstange, is going to get a chance for a penalty kick, looking to double the Cornerstone lead. They'd only scored one goal all season coming into play today, been shut out in their last two games. So this would be their first multi-goal game if they can get it. Ball is set. Korstange takes the shot and scores off to the right. DeGennaro leaned to the left. The ball went to the right, and it is 2-0 in favor of the Golden Eagles. A 53rd minute goal from Tyler Korstange, the senior, who becomes the first player outside of Calvin Curtis to score this year. They could have given the shot to Calvin Curtis. They gave it to Korstange instead. And he delivers. First goal was scored with exactly 26 minutes left in the first half. This one is scored with exactly 38 minutes to play in the second half. After their goal in the first half today, the switch flipped. St. Francis really dominated from that point on, even though they couldn't get a goal scored. We'll see if the same thing happens here. After the goal, does St. Francis turn things up? Another man down for Cornerstone. Gavin Bignall was on the ground. Foul called on the Fighting Saints. That allows the Eagles to get themselves set up for the free kick. Headed back the other way by Brown. Here come the Saints. It's Morrell losing the ball, taken away by the visitors. Korstange pushes it ahead. Knocked loose from Bignall. Bignall trying to keep it alive, but another sliding stop by Brown. He tackles him again, and this time the ball rolls out of bounds. A couple of good challenges from Jack Brown, just wasn't able to entirely take possession away. There's the throw in headed by Brown right down the middle of the field. Here come the Fighting Saints. It's Gaudry. Gaudry taps it off to his left. He's got Mendez. Mendez works his way back to the middle of the field, takes a shot, and it's saved by Gutierrez. Good setup by the Saints. Nice shot by Mendez. Good save by Gutierrez. His third save of the afternoon. He puts the ball down in front of him and launches it across midfield. Brown steps up. His pass is intercepted immediately. Here's Curtis. Curtis's ball deflected by Eve. Jensen Eve pushes it towards the side, and it finds its way back to the goalkeeper, De Janeiro. Two 2-0 Cornerstone on top, trying to even up their record and keep St. Francis winless for the season. The Saints will need 3 goals over the final 35 minutes if they want to pick up their first win of the year. We're 10 minutes into the second half. That's a tall order, 3 goals in 35 minutes. Not undoable, though. Mendez crosses it, and it's loose in the box, deflected towards the sideline. Can the Saints keep it in? Esparza tracks it down, and he can't keep it in. In fact, he pushes it from the sideline to the back line and turns it into a goal kick instead of a throw-in. Good effort, but nothing doing for the Fighting Saints. Calvin Curtis and Tyler Corstange are the 2 goal scorers in today's game. 1 in each half for Cornerstone University. Ball is sent away by Gutierrez. Bounces once before finding Curtis. Curtis turns, takes a shot, and a nice diving save made by Elio De Janeiro. Stays in bounds, and the Saints keep it that way. Just inside the line. Challenge taken away. Curtis takes the shot. Another good save by De Janeiro. He's turned Curtis away twice in the last few seconds. Good takeaway there from Cornerstone to set up that shot, but not able to capitalize. They've got it again. This is Wood all the way down to the corner. Isaac Wood looking for the cross, poked away from him by Valles and out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for the Golden Eagles. The Golden Eagles, who wear white and blue. A little confusing. That ball thrown directly into the hands of Elio De Janeiro. Easy stop for him on the throw-in. Goal kick coming up for St. Francis, and they're going to make some subs. A couple of their starters return to the field. Austin Delizé, the freshman, and Bruno Silva, the junior forward, both come back in. Knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. Wolf fires it in, headed towards that back line. Hell tries to track it down. Good play by Jack Brown. He looked like he was going in for the kick and decided just to let it go. We'll make it a goal kick. Two to nothing, Cornerstone on top. Deflected out of bounds. Another Fighting Saints throw in here. We're approaching 32 minutes remaining in the game. Good spot for the Golden Eagles to be in. The Saints are playing aggressively, trying to create offense to the far side. Here's Delizé. Passed ahead for Silva. Morel chips it into the box. Fernandez Arango has the header, but it's wide. Doesn't end up going out of bounds. Gutierrez keeps it in. No offsides call there, so apparently it was legit from the Fighting Saints, but just couldn't get the header in. Trying to straighten it out. Little tie up at midfield. Man goes down for the Saints, and a foul is called. Gaudry finds Silva on the left. Silva crosses it over to Baez. He loses possession. Saints get it back. It's Brown. Delizé's pass is picked off. But the loose ball goes back to St. Francis. Silva is tripped up. A foul is called on Jake Madak. Madak's going to get a yellow card for this. First yellow card given today. Comes with 30 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the second half. And most importantly for St. Francis, that means they've got a free kick here. They've got to make something happen soon. Trailing by 2 goals with just about a half hour to play. Ball is set up for Max Gaudry, junior midfielder from Paris, France. Chipped into the box, headed by Jensen Eve right in front of him, and knocked loose by the Cornerstone defense. Goes all the way across midfield where De Janeiro is waiting to send it forward again. Saints are back on the attack. Brown down the middle of the field, headed back the other way. Popped into the air and out of bounds. Last touched by St. Francis. Subs for Cornerstone. Noah Dressler is in the game. Steven Stidham is in as well. First time we've seen Dressler today. Stidham was in the starting lineup, played most of the first half. William Morel for the Fighting Saints. Gives it up. It's Max Gaudry. Gaudry tries to get the ball through, looking for Esparza. But Wolf gets his head on it first. Ben Wolf taps it right back to the goalkeeper. And the Saints are back to square one. Van Workum down the field. Brown pushes it back the other way. Morel too hard, looking for Esparza. Fernandez Arango tried to make a sliding stop on the goalkeeper's ball. Roberto Gutierrez was pushing it forward. And Fernandez Arango got there just a little bit late. Would have been an interesting play if he had gotten there. To the back line, picked up by Gutierrez. He'll punt it away. Or maybe just roll it out and then kick across the midfield stripe. Saints try to gain possession back. They do. Esparza tried to weave it through to Fernandez Arango, couldn't, but the Saints get it back. It's Gaudry. Gaudry across the field, tries to get Fernandez Arango, 2 defenders there, and it's knocked away from him. Eve heads it up into the air and out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for Stidham. Coming up on 28 minutes to go. Stidham makes a move to get around Lagunas. Passes it ahead for Curtis, and Curtis is tackled off the ball by Jensen Eve. Dueling number 3s. Back to De Janeiro. And the Saints will try to reset the possession from the defensive end. They've pushed everybody up. Trying to be the aggressors, down 2 goals here. Taken from Gaudry. Noah Dressler pushes it across midfield. Here's a run from Calvin Curtis. Curtis into the box. De Janeiro steps up, but it's poked right past him and into the net. But I think we've got offsides called. Tyler Korstange got up and pushed it just past De Janeiro, but he was out of position. Offsides. And Cornerstone's lead remains 2-0. They are not able to get their third goal. They might get a chance right here. Isaac Wood takes the shot. It's wide to the right and out of bounds. Goal kick for St. Francis. Seth Vigil comes on for Cornerstone. New player for St. Francis as well. Mason Morose comes into the game. DeGeneiro deep on the far sideline. Out of bounds. Jack Brown taps it ahead to Gaudry. Gaudry directing traffic. Pushes the ball down the far sideline. Gutierrez dives on top of it just barely. Was able to do that legally. Right along the side of the goalkeeper's box there. It looked like he almost touched it illegally. But he was on the line as he pulled it in. 25.5 minutes to play. Here's Morel. Knocked loose from him and a foul call. Gaudry takes a step towards the inside. Rolled forward. Fernandez Arango. Back to Gaudry, and Gaudry put too much on that ball. So he was trying to set up Bruno Silva on the run. Instead, he pushed it out of bounds and out for a goal kick. Eli Leaguewater gets it ahead to Isaac Wood. Wood, the freshman, launches it down the middle of the field where it's taken away by Jack Brown. Brown to Morose, and a whistle blows. Another foul called against Cornerstone. Cornerstone has started to pile up the fouls a little bit. St. Francis hasn't entirely been able to take advantage of that. They've been outshot in this second half 6-1. But this is right around the time that things turned around in the first half. Fernandez Arango, nice pass through to Morose. Morose is knocked to the ground as the ball rolls out the back line for a goal kick. 6 shots to 1 in this second half. Obviously, Cornerstone is leading in terms of the goals in this half and both halves. 1-0 in this half. Shots on goal this half have been 1-3. St. Francis to Cornerstone, 1-3 is the disparity. And again, things turned around a little bit before we reached the halfway point of the first half. We're about to reach halfway here in the second. So far, no signs that the needle has reversed, but St. Francis needs it to. They're holding possession now. Eve gives it a big kick right down the middle of the field and tapped back to Gutierrez from Van Workum. Gutierrez right down the middle of the field for Cornerstone. Stidham steps up on that loose ball. Stidham crosses it, and it's intercepted by Brown. Do the Saints have a counterattack in them here? Silva on the far end of the field. Tries to work his way around Mason Habor, and he can't. His pass is knocked loose by Harrison Van Workum. Dressler passes it through. Finds Curtis. Curtis makes a nice move to get around Eve right in front of the net. Knocked loose by Brown. Good defense by Jack Brown. Another chance for Wood. Wood can't get it through the defensive line. Man down for Cornerstone. He's able to get himself up. That's Corstange with the pass towards the back line and too far out in front of Seth Vigil. Out of bounds for a goal kick. Another sub coming on for Cornerstone. Number 15 who just checked in for the Golden Eagles. He's not on the roster, so I can't tell you who he is. But they've got a new player out there. Eve gets it to Silva. Silva works his way out of the circle. Passes back to Jensen Eve, who wants to reverse field going through the goalkeeper. Off to their left, it's Brown. Brown, big kick with the right foot. On the inside track, though, Habor is able to get to the ball first. To the sideline from Jensen Eve, out of bounds. Thrown in from midfield. Tough touch from Corstange, and that's out of bounds. So before this next throw, Saints bring Miguel Zavala back in. Now they toss it into Jack Brown. Here's Zavala getting the early touch. Off to the near side, Lagunas. Armani Lagunas' pass is taken away. Quick interception from another player who's not on the Cornerstone roster. They're bringing him in from everywhere now. Passed outside the box. Shot from Stidham is deflected. Sent backwards Isaac Wood. Over to the near side, Ben Wolf. Wolf right in front of the net, headed away again by Brown. And Brown was shoved in the back on the play. He's down on the ground. A foul was called on Cornerstone. Hopefully Brown's all right. Looks like he is. Helped to his feet. The Saints will operate quickly here, down by 2. And now with just 19 minutes to try to erase that deficit. De Janeiro along the near side, hooks up with Moroz. Moroz passes ahead to Fernandez Arango. Back ahead for Moroz. It's a little bit too far out in front of him. Sent away by Gutierrez. Out of bounds. Saints want to put the ball back in play as quickly as they can here, as we are starting to get a little bit late in this one. Passed back to Zavala. He hooks up with the goalkeeper, who was challenged there by Seth Vigil, so he had to get rid of it in a hurry. Bruno Silva taps it away, keeps it alive to Morel. William Morel keeps things moving to the left. There's a run from Mendez. Mendez into the box, tripped up. Ball scooped up by Roberto Gutierrez. Saints bench was hoping for a penalty call, but it didn't come. And it's another stop for Cornerstone. Out of bounds on the near side. We're going to send it back the other way. Silva was grabbed from behind there, so a foul on Cornerstone. Here comes Brown. Off to the left. Morel is able to find Mendez. Mendez's pass is deflected. 'Cause St. Francis' defense steps up again. Jack Brown is really playing well here in the second half. But they've not been able to turn it into offense. Delazay ahead to Mendez. Mendez rolls it back in the middle of the field where it's intercepted by Stidham. Quick end to Cornerstone's possession. They've not been able to hold the ball very much lately the way they were earlier. Mendez held from behind, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. A throw in for the Fighting Saints. Stidham takes it for Cornerstone. Steven Stidham right down the center of the field as nobody out in front of him. DeGennaro keeps it in the box and is able to scoop it up. 16 minutes to play in today's game. 2-0 Cornerstone. Trying to avenge a loss from a season ago. They met up in Michigan. Grand Rapids. Foul is called there on Fernandez Arango. 2-1 was the final score in last year's matchup in early September. Now Cornerstone is trying to come back and pick up a victory, even up their record. Every game they've played this year has been a shutout. Their 1 win and their 2 losses. They're trying to keep that alive today, although they've got a little bit of wiggle room as that's headed off the crossbar and out of bounds. They nearly extended their lead to 3-0. But the header from, I think that was Vigil who got his head on it, was just a little bit too high off the crossbar for a goal kick. With a 2-goal lead right now, Cornerstone doesn't need another shutout to get a win. I think they'd like to keep that trend going, though. Their goals on the season right now are dead even. They've scored 3 and they've allowed 3. Good challenge. Keeps the play alive for Cornerstone. Making their way in front of the net. It's knocked out of bounds. Well played there by William Morrell. He was able to take the ball away from Steven Stidham and not allow a 3rd goal. That would, at this stage of the game, surely be decisive. Trailing by 2 goals with 14 minutes left is tough enough, but 3 would be just about impossible to come back from for a St. Francis team that has struggled to score, struggled to generate offense. 3 goals total on the season. None so far tonight as that shot doesn't make it all the way to the net, deflected by the defense. DeGennaro steps up, makes the catch, and he's fouled on the play by Seth Vigil. Collision between Vigil and DeGennaro, and Elio DeGennaro is slow to get up. Just under 14 minutes to play. Clock stopped. It'll start again now with the ball in play. Fernandez Arango taps it off to Armani Lagunas. Roger Valles towards the sideline, out of bounds. And we've reached that point of the game, especially with a multi-goal lead. That Cornerstone will eat up a few extra seconds wherever they can. Certainly not in a hurry to get the ball back in bounds on a throw. This is Wolf. Ben Wolf goes the other way with it, finds Harrison Van Workum. Into the middle of the field. Ball knocked loose. Nearly stolen by St. Francis, but they're not able to take possession. It's still Cornerstone eating up the clock. Ben Wolf down the sideline. Long run for Stidham. Stidham into the corner, tracks it down, and it's knocked off his foot, out of bounds by Lagunas. But it was last touched by Stidham before it went out of bounds. Antoine Esparza and Max Gaudry are back in for St. Francis. Fernandez Arango working one-on-one with Eli Leaguewater. Leaguewater tries to poke the ball loose. Finally, it's passed off and knocked out of bounds. Coming up on 12 minutes remaining in the game. Delizé's pass finds Gaudry, who gets it right back. The two of them go back and forth, a little bit behind Gaudry on this pass. Back across the field. Picked up as it rolls into the box, secured by DeGennaro. Jack Brown passes off towards the sideline. It's Delizé. Just no real forward momentum right now for St. Francis. Even when they've had possession, Cornerstone has been able to prevent them from going anywhere. And now the Golden Eagles take it away. Foul called. They haven't gotten a good shot off in a while. And the Saints are at a point in the game right now where they've got to get a little bit desperate, but the defense for Cornerstone just hasn't allowed them to be aggressive in a way that they want to be, chasing 2 goals. Under 11 minutes to play. Gutierrez has had a good game in net. Free kick here for Cornerstone. Pushed away by St. Francis. Ball secured by Nick Block of Cornerstone. Block sends it down into the corner. Stays in bounds for the moment. Delizé forces it out, and that makes it a corner kick. Noah Dressler's got it set up in the corner. Right in front of the net. Ball bounces once and is cleared by St. Francis. Now we'll see if they can get their offense rolling. Gaudry off to Esparza on the near side. Antoine Esparza starts a run. Knocked off of his foot by Isaac Wood and out of bounds. And the Saints get the throw in, but Cornerstone does get a chance to use the throw in to set their defense up. And now maybe they don't need to. Intercepted, they'll go on offense. Down along the near sideline, pulled back. Sent into the middle of the field, knocked loose by Delizé towards the goalkeeper DeGennaro, who will pick it up. Under 10 minutes remaining. Zavala sends it ahead. Right back to him. A little bit further on this pass. Finds Fernandez Arango. Tries to create some space. Knocked out of his possession by Leaguewater. Down the sideline. Gaudry on the run. Can't reach it. Harrison Van Workum gets there first. He kicks it out of bounds. Throw in coming up for St. Francis. And immediately pushed right back out by Dressler. Saints continue to work their way down the field. Delizé lobs it in. Gets it right back. Passes back to the defensive side. That defense from Cornerstone continues to stand strong, just not leaving a lot of openings for the Saints at the moment. Morel towards the sideline. This is Gaudry. Gaudry is halted on the play. Pushed out of bounds on the slide from Mason Habor. Saints lob it back in. Fernandez Arango runs into a wall of defenders. Looked like Van Workum was the guy who knocked that one officially off his foot and off to the sideline. Another chance for the Saints. Delizé, pass deflected, stolen by Cornerstone. And a little bit closer to that victory as it's lofted out of bounds into the seats. Tossed quickly back in by Esparza. Fernandez Arango working against 2 defenders, trying to muscle them off the ball. Fernandez Arango is able to turn back towards the back line. It's knocked off his foot by Leaguewater, out of bounds for a corner kick. Third of the game for St. Francis. It'll be Esparza setting it up. It's actually the fourth corner kick of the game for the Fighting Saints, compared to 6 for the Golden Eagles. Esparza's kick is immediately headed off the front post. Esparza works to get it back, though. Esparza, around one defender, runs into the second. Isaac Wood knocks it loose. It goes back to the defensive side of the field, where Zavala's the only one standing by for the Saints. They'll quickly try to turn it upfield again. 6.5 minutes to play. On the sideline, knocked out of bounds, and Block will throw it in for Cornerstone. Actually, it was off of Block. A whistle and a foul called, but Cornerstone gets it right back. Deep down the near side, Zavala heads it back towards midfield. Rolled into the middle. And William Morel, passes off to his left. Saints continue to work it forward. Fernandez Arango in front of the net, a little bit too tall for Antoine Esparza. I don't know that he had anywhere to go with that ball if he did pull it in. Even just about 10 yards away from the net, there were a couple of defenders around, so it would have been tough to head it directly towards the goal. It would have been probably even more difficult to control the ball and set up a kick. Cornerstone goes back to the bench. Josiah Demond, comes in. Saints throw it in. Stidham gets by Esparza. Passes back to Ben Wolf, who finds the goalkeeper Gutierrez. Zavala is called for the foul as he pushes a Golden Eagle down. Under 5 minutes to play. Cornerstone feeling that victory now. It would be their first since August 23rd if they can hold off the Saints for another 4.5 minutes. And a few seconds beyond that too, I guess. Wolf steps up and takes the free kick. De Janeiro punches it away. Saints try to operate quickly. Cornerstone is able to come up with the takeaway, though. Far end of the field, it's Brown. Brown has it knocked off of his foot, out of bounds. Throw in for the Saints. It's Dylan Frank lobbing it in along the sideline. Here's Gaudry. Good ball ahead for Antoine Esparza. Esparza going one-on-one with Wolf. Turns to his left, takes a shot, and sails it a little bit high. Good move from Antoine Esparza. Good ball from Gaudry to set it up. Esparza in a state of desperation, though, just a little bit. Got that shot off quickly. Couldn't quite put it in, a little bit too high. That was the story of the first half for the Saints. Whenever they did get good scoring chances, they always seemed to sail them. And that's the case here in what was the best, I think, scoring chance in a while, if not the entire second half for the Fighting Saints. It's out of bounds on the Saints. Eagles throw in. And now just 3 minutes away from a 2-goal victory. Wolf checking in for Stidham. Kept in bounds. Stidham crosses. Finds Block. Block over to DeMond. DeMond takes the shot. Punched away by DeGennaro. Second opportunity is deflected to the sideline. The net was open, but it didn't make it to the net on that second shot of the possession for the Eagles. Vigil was denied by the St. Francis defense. Now here's Wolf. The shot goes right into the hands of Elio DeGennaro off the foot of Noah Dressler. An easy stop that time for DeGennaro. Cornerstone keeping that pressure on, though. Pushing forward. Deflected off to the sideline. Brought in by Lagunas. Lagunas downfield, headed away by Van Workum. All the way back to the defense and Lagunas. We have found our way down to the final 100 seconds here. So if the Saints want to have any chance, they've got to operate at lightning speed. They've got to get the ball back first. Here's a run for Nick Block. Block all the way into the box. Taken off of his foot by Dylan Frank. And now the Saints need to turn it upfield in a hurry. Past Max Gaudry. Silva keeps it in bounds, and no, he doesn't keep it in bounds. Silva tried, but it is out for a throw-in, and that'll carry us down to the final minute of play. Back to DeGennaro.
1 minute remaining.
He sends it down the middle. Headed back by Cornerstone. Morel to Frank. Dylan Frank goes back to DeGennaro, and there's just not enough time at this point for the Fighting Saints. Cornerstone's not letting them get the ball across midfield. To the sideline. Block stops it from going out. Challenged by Frank. Block, again, takes his time. He is tripped up by Frank. No whistle, so it's a clean challenge, but Frank can't control possession as Block fights him off. A throw in for Cornerstone, and that should wrap this up. Clock is down to 15 seconds right now. No hurry from Josiah DeMond, who tosses it into the box. One more chance for Cornerstone to add to their lead. DeMond rolls it out, and he'll just keep dribbling until that clock runs down to 0. There it is, and this game has come to a close. 2-0, our final score. Cornerstone defeats St. Francis. A good win for Cornerstone. They scored a goal early. St. Francis turned things around for the rest of the first half. After that early goal, they really controlled play for the final 26 minutes or thereabouts in the half. But coming out for the second half, Cornerstone was back on top, and they really remained that way the entire game. After they extended the lead to 2-0, the Saints really didn't have much of an answer. Our scoring summary in this game: Calvin Curtis got the first goal. That was in the 20th minute. It was his second goal of the season, and the team's second goal of the season. In the 53rd minute, Cornerstone was able to double their lead on a penalty kick. And that penalty kick was the first goal of the season for Tyler Korstange. And at 2-0, Cornerstone was never really challenged significantly the rest of the game. They outshot St. Francis today 20-10. In the second half, that number was an impressive 11-2. Shots on goal were 9-3 in Cornerstone's favor. 7 saves were made by Elio DeGennaro, who did play well despite taking the loss. 3 saves for Roberto Gutierrez, the Cornerstone starter. Fouls were 15-11. Cornerstone had the 15. St. Francis had the 11. But it was really the Golden Eagles game. They were in control most of the way and were able to cruise to a 2-0 victory as the Saints had trouble challenging Gutierrez in the second half the same way they did late in the first half. With the victory, Cornerstone improves to 2-2 on the season. With the loss, St. Francis falls to 0-4-1. They'll get a chance to pick up their first victory of the year as they move into conference play coming up on the road this week. That's going to do it for this broadcast, though. St. Francis falls to Cornerstone by a final score of 2-0. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet, Illinois. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.